Hello and welcome everyone to the Week 5 stream of Platinum Capped GRLCS Fall 2021. I am General Vici here with co-caster Bignona as we get into our first game of Dogmore Gaming on the blue team versus Lamppost on the red.
Yep, for the side of Dogguard Gaming, we got Blank Ginger running set top lane. Dogmar is a Mumu in the jungle. We got Malins on the Talia mid lane. Not Levi and Morto doing the Zyrakan in the bot lane.
Yeah, and meanwhile for Lamppost, we have Slappy playing Mundo in the top, King Eatloaf with Shaco in the jungle, Leroy taking LeBlanc mid, and Mr. Unfortunate and Randy Newman with the Misfortune Nautilus bot.
Definitely name fitting. We got Misfortune being played by Mr. Unfortunate, so we'll see whether he is truly really good at Misfortune or if there's some anti-synergy going on there with the name. Now, we don't usually cast this division. So it's actually kind of a fun change in pace. I know a lot of the players actually playing here on the side of Lampos used to play with them, so it's going to be pretty fun to watch their games. As we see right now, we see the King Eatloaf setting up on the red side, doing that Shaco leash, where he ends up with a very quick early clear for his first few camps. We'll see if he turns that into a gank, and Dogmar will be starting here on red buff, getting the Zyrakan leash. Honestly, both bot lanes, right? Very aggressive picks. Zyrakan able to 2v2 pretty much any lane. And Misfortune and Nautilus also a very aggressive 2v2, one of the higher damage AD carries packed with one of the stronger engaged supports in bot lane. So we'll see what action both bot lanes are able to come out with that.
Yeah, and it is one where both bot lanes can do pretty well depending on who gets the initiative. It's really, if probably more advantage, I would say, for the Zyrakan, just because you can kind of get out as Zyrakan easier, stand in front of Zaya, let Nautilus engage you, then you get to go back and possibly get some setup there once Nautilus's bonus engaged tool. Set up feathers, root him, go back in for another knockup, kind of turn around, whereas it's a lot more of a final engage from the Zyrakan, who are just able to like nuke someone down if they actually get them in the CC combo. As we do see a pretty interesting play by Dogmar, going for the much vaunted Amumu invade at level 2, but he goes first for ace first into Randy Newman. Mr. Unfortunate comes in to pick up the first blood.
So I thought Dogmar was going over to hover for like an aggressive counter level 2, but no, Miss Madman straight up went for the invade, and yeah, it gets appropriately punished. A nice ping out there from the side of Lamppost to punish as Slappy and Blaine Gingino, trade blows up in top lane.
Yeah,
and then we see King Eatloaf go for the gank, drops the ignite early.
Yeah, as they do trade the blows, it does turn out to be jungle diff, as top does turn out to be. King Eatloaf comes in, picks up pretty easy second kill for Lamppost.
Yeah, Lamppost starting this game off strong. I'm sure the red buff on Mr. Unfortunate on Misfortune is definitely, gonna also be helping out in the bot lane. Nice little pickup there from King Eatloaf in the top lane gank. And that's already a 1,000 gold lead at 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, and that is just the advantage of like
Ouch.
some nice Shaco gameplay. Goes for the invade on blue side, sees that Amumu isn't there, tells his team the MF Nautilus had the prio. That's a really nice hook onto the Zaya flash forward. Over the knockup, is going to look for it, can't quite get the kill. But meanwhile, mid King Eatloaf is stealthing in, puts down the box. Nice avoidance, really nice seismic shove from the Talia, but it doesn't matter. The Leroy flashes forward to pick up yet another kill for Lamppost.
Another kill for the side of Lamppost, and then right here in the bot lane we got to see it. Sums were traded, sums were blown, and now Not Levi is hovering around with about 100, 150 HP. Now I do want to say the Misfortune double up is hitting for about this much health, so kind of suspicious to be staying around. Might just get tapped by it, but they'll be greeting out to hopefully have enough healing and shielding. The Morto can provide. They do have the Guardian shield, so the lethal is a little bit harder to accomplish. It's just going to be whether they can find it or not.
Yeah, and you do. It was a level 3 Misfortune. Now you do have what's probably the level 2 on the double up, although I don't know if you still go for that, considering, but we do have a
No
gank now from the
flash.
Amumu knock up. No flash on Mr. Unfortunate. Really nice CC combo. That's going to burn him down. Now Randy Newman, with someone standing in front of him, has no way to Spider-Man out of here. Second Q from the Amumu. Finally gets 2 back for Dogmar.
Yeah, nice punish on the counter aggression there. Dogmar is able to pick up kill for himself and one for not Levi as they look to push out this wave. Zaya pretty good at pushing waves, won't have a problem doing that. I wonder if King Yeetloaf, no, looks like he's going to recall, not pick up the wave. And then Blaine Ginger, you know, going for those trades in order to pack that strong punch on the Haymaker to push waves faster. As set in the top lane. The CS leads in all the lanes is, you know, relatively even. We got like a little bit more for bot lane on the side of Lamppost, but other than that, it's looking pretty steady as Malins tries to, you know, is developing a little bit of CS lead for themselves there in the mid lane with Natalia.
Yeah, bit of a jump forward. Leroy does get his electrocute proc, which will probably start happening more. Talia is something of a has been experiencing something of a return to the mid lane, as we do see knockup going there. Shouldn't be too much. LeBlanc very mobile, and there is a Shaco hovering on the other side. But yeah, Talia mid lane, something we haven't seen as often. There was a time when after her AoE Q got removed where she was forced more into the jungle, then some nerfs came in there and mostly saw like a play altogether except for a few mains. Now coming back mid with some nice buffs by Riot. I thought really good buffs. With the Q radius being smaller, so you get ability to fire out more. Also, the mana refund on the Q and the cooldown reduction means you actually do get to spam and use a lot less mana on the wave. So just some nice buffs to get her back mid, and it'll be fun to see kind of a return of what was once a staple.
Yeah, now I do wonder how it does. Obviously, Mal's piloting it pretty well into the LeBlanc. If you have the threaded ground, then LeBlanc gets punished pretty hard for jumping forward. But it should be pretty almost impossible to land the rupture on the W on the LeBlanc. She's pretty much in 2 places at the same time. Really difficult unless you have a prediction or a setup from your jungler / support. As we do see, Lamppost is going for the Ocean Dragon. They will be contesting Vision here in Tribush, but it doesn't look like the Dogmar is interested in going for the Smite on the Ocean Drake. That'll be an Ocean Drake for Lamppost.
Yeah, and just a really nice this is a good look forward. Double the chain does land, Ignite going down, is about to wear off, so we'll get the flash. Now the Q's going back. Leroy has Ignite on, dashes away really close mid.
Almost missed a
To
creep.
the solo kill, but now we see Yeetloaf hovering around. Looks like Talia's left, but there's the flash forward knockup. Mr. Unfortunate still not CC'd. There doesn't look like Root will come in, but the flash forward with the bandage toss from Moo will pick up yet another kill for Dogmar. He's hit 6. Now there's the ultimate. Randy Newman forced to flash, but no mana, no knockup. Actually goes back in. If Zaya was a bit more ready for that, could have been her turn kill, but it was so crazy it just worked out, and it will only be 1, but a nice pickup for Dogmar.
Yeah, another nice gank there from Dogmar. He does ding 6 on that gank and throws in an Amumu, but it's not enough to kill Randy Newman. As we see King Yeetloaf maybe preparing to punish some greed. No, he'll just be catching the wave. As we see Zyrakan using that nice little twin recall feature that they've got to get back to base just a little bit faster there for not Levi as he pushes the wave. Here in the top lane, Slappy has a little bit more control of the matchup now. This is kind of how most Mundo matchups go. Once you're past the initial like portion of laning, where your cleaver costs like a 10% cost on your health bar, it ends up like waning out, and then you just end up your regen just covers the cost of your cleaver, and you're able to bully most champions out with 200 to 300 magic damage every few seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also really hard for Set just because he doesn't really have a way to go past the cleavers. Mundo has basically almost all space control in the matchup. It's the same sort of thing with Aatrox, where if you try and run at him, he'll just throw a cleaver at you and slow you and keep kiting you. And even if you do get in range, he'll block a CC. So it makes it really hard to respond, and we do see this as he starts to fall pretty far behind in CS of the Mundo. And it's not like it gets too much better for Set as it goes on. So we'll have to see how that matchup goes, as we do have just basically neutral lane state now after the dragon was picked up using good pressure. Now Randy Newman is a bit far forward, but will realize he is alone. As now we have Dogmar going top, and that's the flash forward back under tower for Slappy. He's gonna flash up, but Dogmar is right there. He does not have his spell shield. Will get stunned up, true damage going down. Chasing him, he will maybe die eventually, but Set isn't in range to hit, and Mumu doesn't do enough damage. Ult wears off for the region, keeps getting a slow. Q should be up in a second from Mumu, as they are going to look for the dive. Misty, but finally, after a longer chase than you would think, they do manage to get another kill top for Dogmar.
Yeah, Mumu with the percent HP damage, still not the highest DPS champion to try to burst down a Mundo with. But that was a really nice reversal there from Blank Gingers. We see a hook land onto not Levi. The Xayah ult comes out.
As the Xayah ult is going to flash forward. Not Levi picks up the kill. Mr. Unfortunate with flash down from the gank and no heal as well. Just being punished repeatedly for his lack of sums in the bot lane.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they, a few patches ago they buffed Xayah's base damage on her ultimate. I'm pretty sure that would made or break that kill there on the Misfortune. Just that flash forward to land the damage from the ultimate did put Mr. Unfortunate in lethal there. So that's interesting. It's nice to see those patches actually matter in these matches where Xayah is buffed because of an aggressive Xayah ultimate being an option. It's cool to see.
Yeah, and we are also seeing something we talked about earlier where it's a lot easier for the Rakan engage to stick on the back line than the Nautilus. Nautilus will go in, Xayah has her ult to get away from it, and we just saw like the supports going on each other, but even with the ADCs able to follow up, the Rakan's able to do a lot more to the Misfortune than the Nautilus can to the Xayah, and just end up finishing off that combo. And now we do see Dogmar with the 1000k gold lead after a pretty rough early game. We'll be able to pick up Herald on the other side with the top pressure. Despite going down, it's still 20 CS up for Slappy, so that matchup doesn't get much better. But Mr. Unfortunate going a bit far forward. The Q does manage to land from Dogmar. Now we see TP is behind, but it will be after Mr. Unfortunate is already dead. Now the counter TP on the other side looking to collapse. Leroy getting a little bit damaged, but it is the full tank of Mumu, and so he's just going to get knocked up by the Rakan and now forced to run away as Slappy is getting kited hard by not Levi. Has the ult running, and with the region goes over. Nice wall off from the Talia is going to prevent Slappy from running away, but not Levi can't quite get in range, and now Talia's alone as the Leroy looks like his clone is going to get wrecked as Slappy is now facing Mullins. He can just turn around and kill him. You have to be careful. Ismano does finally go down, and because Randy Newman went to go help his top laner, he's going to fall as well, making it 8-4 kills in favor of Dogmar.
Yeah. Just Mundo things, able to one-tap the Talia who ults to wall you off. That's a Mundo moment for sure. And then the Misfortune to clear the wave. I was gonna note it's actually a really difficult game to play Misfortune, other than the fact that, you know, Mr. Fortunate's pretty behind 1-4. You've got like 3 pretty good divers that are going to be looking to disrupt a Misfortunate with the Amumu, with the Settle from 2 pretty tanky targets, the Nautilus and the Mundo, and then Rakan's just gonna be whizzing in and out with the charm, with the knockup ready to stop you from ulting. So I do like to see, I do think Misfortune's really strong because of the changes to her ultimate buff, but I do like to see the change to more auto attack focused Misfortune build with the Kraken Slayer. I do think it's possible to play that style with especially since a lot of Misfortunes will max W second. That attack speed buff is definitely not something to ignore.
Yeah, it is something that we did fail to mention, though, is team comps at the beginning, and there is a bit of a dissonance between Link's comp. You basically have 2 assassins in the Shaco and LeBlanc who are trying to burst someone. MF is really looking for more of a wombo. Nautilus can kind of help both, but then you've also got like Mega Tank in the top, but he isn't really supporting real DPS, and I kind of misspoke when I said Mega Tank, because Mundo is more of just a juggernaut than a tank. He is tanky, but his purpose is to run at you and do damage. So there's not really a lot of help for the Misfortune, and as you pointed out, there's a lot of dive that can be coming for with Set, like ulting an assassin into her with a Mumu and Rakan diving in. So it's kind of hard for her to play, and there isn't really enough damage without her to cut through some of these champions that Dogmar do have, with the Mumu and the Set both getting very tanky. So I am a little bit concerned about how later team fights will go for land.
See a 2x fight happen across the map as Malins gets engaged on bot lane at the same time
Yeah, and
that Not
meanwhile,
Levi
because
goes.
Flash
Ooh.
is already blown from Malins, won't manage to get it. Randy Newman will pick up the kill with the Ignite. Probably could have saved that for the Roy, but will go down nonetheless, as some Shaka moves of just running through the enemy team invisible. And that's just nice run down and nice pickup from Randy Newman.
Yeah, something we don't get to see here in GRLCS is the exact way that the draft went down. It's pretty common to pick Nautilus Misfortune early, and if they decided to change it to a more pick oriented comp with the Shaco and with the LeBlanc picks later, I do like that adaptation. As once the enemy has a Mumu and Zyricon and Set, there is no really like comp that can out team fight that just because of how easy it is to get to your backline on the Misfortune. The Misfortune pick starts being like a lot less impactful. That if you did choose to do like some Orianna, some Jarvan comp like with the Misfortune, I don't think you'd be able to like the Jarvan just gets ulted out, or like the Orianna is just gonna be sitting there just gonna get bandage tossed and the whole team fight just falls apart. So I do like the change to a more pick oriented style. It's just they've gotta take the leads, the small leads that they've managed to grab, and actually turn them into picks. So it'll be interesting if they can, find the shutdown on Not Levi. So there's some pretty aggressive trading from both top laners.
Yeah, and Black Ginger is now kind of at the danger point where Mundo has a lot of burst damage, like with a Cleaver E, and his ult gives him a lot of health. And yeah, I do agree with you, as Mountains is going to get ignited by Yeetloaf, doesn't quite get the box in position for Fear, but he will kite forward, seismic shove, push him away, and the Q is still landing, but the clone manages to go right into the work ground, and the Fear means that trade will end up being a 1-for-1.
Kind of unfortunate there. He did use the ultimate to partially dodge the shove, even though the shove still hit him, and it moved the spawn point for both the clone and himself. Just slightly mistimed there on the clone, and so it ends up being a 1-for-1 for what should have been a pretty clean assassination. King Yeetloaf rushing that buffed Yomu's that was buffed 1 or 2 patches ago. We end up seeing a lot more priority on Yomu's as opposed to some of the other lethality mythics, just because they end up not doing as much. As we see, Slappy does manage to pick up his little cask there. Pops his ultimate.
He is 2-for-1 for now, but he has Randy New coming in. But the other support section now, it is a 3v. That's a really big Misfortune all over the top. Slappy igniting, trying to flash away to buy some space, but he will go right into Not Levi instead. Mr. Unfortunate couldn't get enough damage in the front line, and it looks like it will just be a 1-for-none in favor of Dogmar.
A really nice Misfortune ult that feels like it did nothing. Like, that is exactly how you want to be playing it, right? The Amumu ult's already used, Set used his ult not in the direction of your Amumu, and you don't have the Rakan nearby, but like, shooting pebbles there. Mr. Unfortunate doesn't really feel like to do any damage there as he does die. A little bit sad to see, your champion that's, fully countered by their team finally get its shining moment, and, kind of does not much. But we do have Dragon spawning here in 40 seconds. Randy Newman already going down to secure some vision, as we see Slappy in the top side with the teleport. Both top laners having teleport as the rest of the teams converge around the Dragon.
Yeah, and right there we kind of saw what the problem will end up being, is Leroy goes in for double distort, doesn't go for the chain quite yet, but flashes forward seismic shove, will manage to pick him up. Buff tower shot really likes going 1-for-1 with the Talia in the bot lane, and that is both mids down right as Dragon is spawning.
Yeah, that's a pick, I guess, for the side of Lamppost. Not sure if, yeah, that's definitely not how it should be going down, right? You shouldn't just be solo dying. That's what we were saying. Oh, we see nice ultimate there. Ooh, and he managed to find the feathers.
I manages to just kill off King Yeetloaf. Really hard to get assassinations on something like the Xayah. Now Misfortune trying to roam up mid is instead cut off by Dogmar and Mordo in the river. Tries to cut away, but not much you can do. Dogmar on a rampage, and it will look like the Dragon stacking has been stopped for Lamppost.
Yeah, this Air Drake will be going over to the side of Team Dogmar. Now, it's going to be a bunch of Air Drakes, which means it's going to be really hard for Lamppost, because it's going to be more difficult to pick the Xayah because she's going to have her ultimate up more, and then you're also going to have the constant threat of the Amumu set, which are super ultimate reliant, as we see Leroy having to 1v1 Dogmar now.
Yeah, and not liking it. Will manage to have his clone distract Mordo enough to get away. But I think we're just starting to see the problems that Lamppost is going to have later in the game. You did mention to like team comp pivot to get more pick, and I do think that's what they had to do. But you are up against Azaya, and she is very hard to get picks on, especially when she's
Absolutely.
that far ahead. Like, it's when your melee is a Shaka, LeBlanc will have a bit more luck, but it's hard to
Yeah.
go for her, and that means that basically your win con has entirely become get picks in side lane, which is a lot easier for Shaka LeBlanc, and Mundo does win sides very heavily against all the champions that Dogmar have. So it's gonna pretty much turn into a side lane game of if they can get enough pressure, if they can get enough picks, and if they can avoid getting into any sort of team fight whatsoever with Dogmar's comp.
Yeah, the winning formula has to be something like get the Xayah ultimate out using Shaco / LeBlanc and then drop a Nautilus ultimate on Not Levi. That's the only way that they can realistically look to win a team fight outside of just like generate a pick, win a 4v5 type situation, which I don't even know if it's possible. Normally, right, Xayah against this type of heavy pick would need to build a shield bow, but she's so ahead. No need. She can itemize Kraken Slayer and just do more damage. Extra shred against Slappy and Randy Newman is heavily preferred, and I'll be interested in what Not Levi decides to pick up as some of their later items. I know Essence Reavers sometimes liked on Xayah. I don't necessarily think this would be a good game for like Hurricane, but Phantom Dancer. Ooh, as we see, the
Yeah, bit
Rakanna
of a
goes down to the
whiffing.
crab.
Yeah, bit of a whiffed engage, and yeah, Xayah is going to be a huge problem. One of the things about Mundo that I have the opinion of is that he's one of the squishiest tanks in the game once he falls behind the power curve. Once you get to that point where you just get shredded as you go in, yeah, you get a bit extra health, some regen, but Xayah will absolutely nuke you if you try and run into her. So he can't really do his job as a Juggernaut if he's just going to get one shot as he goes in, and no one can kill Dogmar in the fights either. And he's been going for this Maskies. He will go in, get some nice damage. My screen is frozen, can't quite see, but it will turn out that Mullen's got a kill on Randy Newman. Now Dogmar's a bit far forward, Slappy TP coming in, Leroy trying to get some damage back. Finally, the Kraken Slayer putting in some work to the shutdown. Now Slappy is in the front line, but we see him getting nuked by Not Levi. He isn't able to do anything. He will go down to leave the Xayah dominating, and another one team fight for Dogmar.
Yeah, really nice counter there from Dogmars. They find the pick and it kind of gets a little shaky, but they're able to keep it together. Not Levi able to take full command of the situation. Like you said, Slappy is extremely squishy there. Not really sure who the Anathemas is on, right? Like normally you build the Anathemas, you put it on your enemy laner, but for now, oh, there's the synced recalls. I don't know if that actually saved them any time, but it's cute to see. I don't know if it shouldn't be on Blind Ginger at this point. It should definitely get moved to Not Levi because he's going to be the main and there we see it's actually going to be the Lord Dom. So if you thought Mundo was squishy, right, without Ninja Tabbies, he's even squishier now as all that health he's built is now working against him as bonus damage for Xayah to be hitting him with. So definitely Mundo feels, like you said, squishy. A lot of it just has to do with his W. A lot of Mundo players won't match their W because they do prefer the like bonus AD. And also, like, in order to access the tankiness aspects to Mundo's W, which is effectively a damage reduction, you have to be in melee range of enemy champions, which is sometimes difficult to accomplish on the pop of it. And then 2, it's reduced by Grievous Wounds, which I guess there's a Bramble Vest for the side of Team Dogmar, but past that, once the Grievous Wounds goes down, Mundo becomes squishy in the sense that his W is almost chunking himself. It's difficult to get more than 5% of your maximum health if you pop it when you're full back from that ability.
Yeah, and that will just continue to be a problem as another item choice to look at is Dogmar went ahead and picked up a Demonic Helm. Knows that he's almost unkillable anyway because the only one who can kill him is Misfortune, and there are a lot of chances Slappy, if you landed that cleaver, could have ulted and ran at him. But the Amumu will be doing a lot of damage, and now we see it as Leroy tried to go and get some poke, but easy bandage toss over the wall. You know where he's going to pop back to, and Not Levi is going to go godlike for yet another dragon picked up for Dogmar.
Nice. I do think that the Demonic Helm pick is, I'm pretty sure you just die here. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't shifting grounds against that, and then, well, good night. Slappy picks up a kill for himself in the side. Now, as great as the game is Not Levi's having, Malins is having quite the opposite experience this game. They've got it pretty rough. But all on the back all in the backpack of not Levi. Not Levi says, hop aboard. We'll win this game hopefully. As they are rocking a 700 gold shutdown on the Xayah. Probably more with the way shutdowns work. It's probably you can just cash in on only 700 right now if they generate that pick. Dogma face checking too? No, just walking by the side. Randy Newman deciding he doesn't want to pick an Amumu. As we see King Yeetlove go for an assassination on Dogmar.
Yeah, and does do a lot of damage with the squishy bit. Will flash over in time for it to hit, but ignite over the wall, plus all the burn damage from red buff and the challenging smite means that that is a pick for Lamppost, and they are now going to have a chance to do Baron with enemy jungler dead. Still has a really rough team fight, as you do have to deal with the 703 Xayah. We'll see what they can turn around for it. We're waiting, but I'm pretty sure he is the one who has to be worried about getting one shot if he looks for it. Now we see the engage. Mullins gets pulled in, does eat a lot of damage, does go down. Rakan in the backline managed to interrupt the misfortunal, and not Levi has not died yet, and that means that the team fight has not won yet. Now though he's in melee range of Slappy, got CC, will finally go down. Now Black Ginger is alone. Slappy and Mr. Unfortunate hitting him. Will be a while to get him down, but it will happen, and that is an ace picked up for Lamppost.
There's the 4v5 team fight off of the pick that we were talking about. Mr. Unfortunate able to get half of his ultimate off there before he's getting interrupted, but it was enough. Not Levi does go down, and that there's still the 150 gold shutdown that we were talking about. And that'll be a Cloud Drake for the side of Lamppost, a mid lane tower, I think. Nope, just kidding. Leroy doesn't want to go for that one. Probably decides it's not safe. You know, he's paying more attention to that part than me. And they will be, you know, taking those W's, taking that gold, and going to the bank with it as Mr. Unfortunate completes themselves an Essence Reaver. We got the Leroy finishing the Cosmic Helm. I'm honestly not sure, like, what I don't know if you should be itemizing a bunch of CDR / movement speed for LeBlanc, or if you should just be more punching power, right? More penetration, more AP. But it's just, you know, AP mage itemization. You could probably just build whatever you want. No Zanya's no problem. It's not like that's gonna save you. Just more blinks being everywhere is probably the type of idea that Leroy's going for there. And then we get a nice little time for King Yeetlove to clear his jungle right now. As everything settles back down, top laners are going to be looking to return to bot lane as we see Blink Ginger slowly making his way down. That'll probably be a free tower for Slappy as he goes to an undefended tower. Just some nice structural gold to pick up there. And then both teams going to be starting to dance around Baron, looking for picks, looking to see what happens. Oh, a flash forward. We got a split map fight.
Going to be a couple fights going on. Slappy is going to go for Black Ginger, and now that the true damage is down, I'm pretty sure Slappy should win this fight with his ultimate up. Set's going to ult him back, but yeah, he just does so much damage. Went for the Sun for Ages, which is a very, very strong dueling item, especially against HP. Now that Slappy's running face first into the Xayah, doesn't quite get the root for the bit of extra damage. Now a Xayah bot, I actually think that they can go really, really aggressive for this Baron. Chugga not quite in position, but it does look like Mr. Unfortunate is starting to hit it. TP is up for Slappy, and I do have to question why not Levi's bot, even after the 1v1, and it will probably end up being just this flat-out Baron for Lamppost.
Yeah, Lamppost, you know, getting that 1v1 on the side is huge, absolutely massive for them, as it generates them so much Baron pressure. And yeah, you're completely right. I don't really know why not Levi decided I really need to farm this wave right now. Ooh, yeah, ultimate interrupts the misfortune.
Yeah, as the Baron will go down, Slappy TP'd into the backline. That will leave it 2v4 on the other side. Mundo is just a distraction that only needs to be 2 kills picked up. Slappy will go down with the Featherstorm cleanup for not Levi. He gets the shutdown as Set will TP in, but it's 4 Barons picked up for Lamppost with 3 extra kills on top.
Yeah, a little int from Slappy there on the side just to return some gold. Happily, but they'll be more than happy with the Baron, as that allows them to have a lot of pushing power. The Xayah is clearing waves very quickly. The Talia is also clearing waves, so this will be very helpful for them when they decide to push. The Baron will also still be up, I think, for the... No, it'll be expiring the moment the dragon spawns. Other than that, it'll be pressured towards the dragon vision, so that'll be soul, actually, if they're able to collect it. Lamppost will have soul, and that'll be pretty nice for the Nautilus, for the Mundo especially. Mundo really likes Ocean Soul. That bonus movement speed when you press R really helps on those chase down situations. Now, I do want to say I really dislike the completion of Thornmail on Slappy, right? So shout out to all you Mundo players. Actually read what your items do. You cannot apply 60% grievous wounds unless you're, like, I don't know, hitting a blast cone or something as Mundo. As we see a hook go down. not really going to turn into anything. You can't. It requires immobilizing / hard CC on the
as
target.
meanwhile,
which Mundo
Dogmar
doesn't
is
have.
going to jump forward, try and lock down Mr. Unfortunate, but takes a bunch of damage from Blug instead. Meanwhile, Mr. Unfortunate is going to channel an ult, manages to pick up Rakan. Dogmar is getting really, really low. Now Kingilo from the back line might be able to pick him up. And in the front line, they managed to pick off Xayah. That's a shutdown onto not Levi. Slappy just doing so much damage with this build he is going for. Now Black Ginger is in, gets a nice setup, will manage to actually pick up another kill. Now it's Slappy versus the world, but I'm pretty sure this is a fight he can probably take. Will end up finishing off the Talia. Now it's a 1v1 versus Black Ginger, and it will be Slappy being the lone survivor, only one on the map, as he will pick up the ace for Lamppost.
Congratulations to Slack being the victory royale, getting the W for his team, surviving that massive melee that just went down as he pushes down these towers, bashing his face into them. Now, congratulations to Slappy for winning that. That still doesn't change it. Thornmail's trash on Mundo. Read the item. He should just go Randuin's instead. It gives you better stats and it's better against crit champion / set. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Dragon spawning in 25 seconds.
Yeah, so I will make a bit of a statement off that. I actually think that it's fine here just because Dragonfight's coming up, you want the finished item, because you'll have components for Randuin's, but having Thornmail done, and it's actually quite a bit of stats for Thornmail. It actually has 100 more HP than Randuin's, which is 250. Only 20 less armor, and as you get to the higher armor numbers that he's at, it doesn't really matter, and that also gets you an extra like item completion for your mythic. So I think for the immediate fight, it's fine to pick up, even if it's not the most efficient. I will give him credit for that there. Is that now that is the dragon fight starting up. Pull the dragon away through the pit. The engage will come forward, looking onto Slappy, who will just ult and run away. Now Stet's trying to get the engagement. Mr. Unfortunate flashes, and that leaves like Ginger and Dogmar in the back alone. Randy Newman zoning off. No carries to help them, so the MF ult on top means they will be able to pick up the front line. Nevercon in the back does land his combo onto the Misfortune, but no follow-up. Levi now in the front, kind of cut off. Leroy on the backside will manage to get to him. Now he has so many directions to go, can't quite get a good feather bed, but finally does finish him off. Mr. Unfortunate picks up Mullen. In the meantime, they will be able to go forward, pick up the ace. Double kill for Kilo plus Cloud Soul means that Lamppost are now firmly in control of the game.
Yeah, King Loaf out of nowhere. Team Dogmar was, kiting that out fairly well, but King Loaf just showed up and, I guess like Shaco does, just stabbed everybody in the back and cleaned that up pretty nicely for them. Now, I do want to shout out the Shaco clone dying and being that AoE fear for the Misfortunal is something that I just completely did not consider, right? Usually you think of like the Nautilus combo with that, but that Shaco setup was pretty nice, not gonna lie. As that'll be a solid win for the side of Lamppost. Congratulations to them.
Yep, just managed to off the ace, run it down mid. They had enough members up to take it down and earn down the Nexus for another win on their record. And that will be Lamppost taking the win. That is our first game done for the stream. We will have one coming up next. I believe it will be Vengeance versus Reign of Kings Apocalypse. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Hello and welcome back everyone to GRLCS Fall 2021 Platinum Ruination Division Week 5 stream. We are back with Vengeance versus Reign of Kings Apocalypse on the blue and red side respectively. With Vengeance on the blue side, it is JJ 8,232,000 on the Scion top, Atronach with Siobhan and Jungle, Stretty 2 good with Set mid, and Dark History and Meta Shift on the Jin Vel'Koz bot lane.
Jack loves lamp. Aatrox
Yeah.
on the side. Gotta pause as we get an insane Scion queue.
Engage versus Scion. Don't invade versus the Scion. They 5-man right into the bush. Eat a bunch of damage. The fight is already over. We see flashes coming forward. No one's actually going down though. Wit just kind of sits still and dances, I guess. His strategy too good. Will end up picking up the kill as they chase him out of the jungle. And yeah, there's a few rules in League of Legends. 5-man invade into Scion is always a bad idea.
Well, that's a dark start for a 2-0 a 2-0 start there. Not both of them. One of them picked up by Strategy Good, one of them picked up by Dark History, who did blow Flash for the kills. Now I'll finish up for the side of Reign of King Apocalypse. We got Jack Lump in the top lane, rocking Aatrox, the Stadium in the jungle on the Xin Zhao. Renji is mid on Xerath, and then we got Wit and Bad Cop 74. On the Ashe and Amumu bot lane, we do see a red start from both jungles this game. Gonna be pathing. I know Shyvana would prefer to farm, and Xin Zhao is gonna definitely want to pick up that red buff and maybe look to punish the Blashless AD carry. Now, something to note, right? Dark History and Meta Shift are both running cleanse this game, presumably because they're into an extremely high CC bot lane, right? Any Ashe arrows or any bandage tosses instantly cleansed and run away from. Now, once Amumu does hit 6, the cleanse loses, I think, a little bit of its value, as you're forced to ult against the Amumu ult, not just the bandage toss. So, or maybe that is valuable because you're definitely going to be cleansing. I'd like to see a duo cleanse of Amumu ult and then flashing out type sort of stuff, but we'll see how it plays out. It does leave them a little bit weaker here for the early game, but that kill lead extra launch sword for Dark History is going to more than make up for that, as well as Wit also not having flash. We see Jack go for some blades, able to land all 3 sweet spots. Nice trade there. Definitely an Aatrox favored matchup in the top lane. JJ gonna have to play defensively, has that Doran shield and an extra health potion from the level 1. Oh, the stream died.
Yeah,
and it's back.
Yeah, solving a little bit of an issue on my end, as we do see the bandage dust coming back in, but Backup eats a ton of damage, flashes away, and Wit will pick up Dark History as they manage to punish the level 1 as Bad Cop just kind of ends there and will die to tower.
Dies to tower, but does get the kill over to Meta Shift, as Meta Shift cleanses an Ashe auto attack slow. So definitely not ideal for them, but you know, still at least it's good to see the Jin flash punished for the level 1. The level 1 wasn't a complete flub, as Jack is able to find the second portion of the chain there, as he gets JJ lower and lower. Now, these type of trades are always favorable towards Aatrox, right? He's got his Conqueror fully stacked, and he does have that passive lifesteal / spell vamp against enemy champions, as well as just getting that Deathbringer stance up a little bit quicker. If Aatrox autos you, that does come up faster. It's when he holds his sword with both hands and does the little stabby move.
Yeah, has
Both
to be careful though, all of his pushing means that Atronach will be able to have a pretty easy gang top. Jack trying to kite out as best he can, but will just go down, and that's what happens when you try and bully too hard top. You end up pushing the wave, can't quite get it to tower in time, and just make yourself a really easy target for the jungler. Yeah,
Jack just giving over that kill to Shyvana. Not something you want to do, right? Shyvana is supposed to just be farming up, and this is gonna let Atronach hit that curve a little bit faster. He looks to be maybe... Still can't tell. Probably AP. I think, does that build into recurve buff?
Nashers. That builds him in Nashers.
It still does? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nashers is potentially still AP. You know, maybe it could be Bork still. Who knows? To be determined. The Dark Harvest says AP, though. My money's on AP. They've got a lot of AD on their team already.
I will say, though, that I actually think AD Shyvana is quite a bit stronger than people give it credit for, and it does a lot of damage, and up against the kind of team comp that Lamppost has, I do think that AD is actually the superior version to go this game. You didn't miss out nuking on, like, a Xerath or an Ashe who are just sitting in the back line, but you already have a decent enough front line that you can kind of just follow up a Scion and set engage, and there are enough melees that you can actually shred them down super quickly. Shyvana does a ton of damage as AD. Not quite as
Yeah,
much as Master
absolutely.
Yi, but it's still enough that like I would say that it's somewhat underrated, and instead of people usually going for just the like big number one shot with E, like they would be surprised at how much they can do just by going that like Titanic Hydra, Blade of the Ruined King
They'll do
style
anything
build.
for that dopamine rush of the E landing for 800 damage, and gives them a little bit of happiness on the inside. As we see Meta Shift throw some abilities into the wave, not quite landing for poke, and we see just this continued trade in the top lane. Jack just gonna continue to throw, blade abilities. We see, oh, Shyvana, Astronaut is gonna be going for the dragon, using the Shyvana's first half of her passive, which is just does bonus damage to dragons so that she can kill them, and start accessing the second portion of her passive, which is gets tankier if she kills dragons. So some nice,
Yeah,
Aatrox combos there from Jack. Oh, not able to step out of there. Not the best finisher for that trade.
yeah, and
Back
it
out
is
quick
one of
minion.
those things where if you use the Aatrox combo before the Q sign actually can get his damage, the reason that it is such a hard counter is because you never get to charge Q if the Aatrox has saved anything at all, just because those many knockups, there are 3 of them, really hard to deal with, but doesn't do it quite there, so we'll eat a bunch of damage back. Still not huge risk of dying with his ult, as it does give him enough lifesteal, though you do have to be very careful about Cyan ult just kind of one-shotting you with like CC into your Q charged up, as this isn't the kind of fight you can win, so we'll just be Jack continuing to keep control of the river and the lane.
Yeah, Jack constantly trading down that health bar. Junglers are on the opposite side as they were earlier. Stadia is top side, picking up his red buff again. Gonna potentially look to punish as both top laners are just using abilities on wave, clearing it out. JJ is running low on mana though, not going to be able to keep up this type of cadence, but he is edging out a little bit on the health advantage there. We see Atronach swooping up to top side and Hestadia clearing out his charge, so we might see a 2v2 on the top side of the map. Renji poking out, Stratty 2 good under tower. Definitely, how you would want that matchup to go. You can stand far back enough that the speed boost from Set's Q isn't that big of a threat. And so, without the early game jungle to punish him, Renji's just completely poking him down. Now we do have Aatrox on the backside, and that's the flash.
Yeah, still has Ghost for Renji, so not really in trouble of dying. Hestea shows up, might look for Stratty too good, does land the spear poke, goes forward, and actually that was a pretty bad haymaker from the set. Doesn't absorb any damage, so he gets no shield, plus aiming it the wrong way will go down, and that is just an extra kill picked up for Reigning Kings.
Yeah, Hestadia, nice little counter gank he did there as they both get poked down low, and that is a Dark Harvest stack. So Aatrox walks away from the game with the flash and the Dark Harvest stack to his credit. Some more slamming down from both top laners as the camera goes up there. Not the worst outcome for Aatrox specifically, right? It's on Shyvana, it's kind of like Nocturne. Those first ultimates of the game are really going to decide your momentum for the game. That's just going to be one of those things where, all right, got the flash, and I go back into my jungle and see if it's possible to regank the Xerath at a later time. Just waiting out that 2 minutes for the next dragon. That's going to probably be the next focus for Aatrox. This Earth Drag is going to be pretty consequential to both teams, and it's going to set us up for an Ocean or Infernal map, which both teams would really like. On the side, like Sion really loves Ocean Dragons, and then Xerath would really like to have the Infernal Dragon and not have Ocean Dragon souls for the enemy team. See Bad Cop going for the Tribush, manages to buffer that pretty well.
Q, but the Vel'Koz is 6 and Backcop isn't, so he's gonna go forward and just get lasered. Do manage to get cleansed from Dark History with Arrow. Will force it out. Not much more happening there. And while we are at... Actually, there is no pause as we're getting ready to have a 4-man dive in the bot lane. There is double flash, but... And Jin will use it, but no cleanse, and just an easy flash fall from Hestega. Now Meta Shift is alone under tower. I wish Bad Cop wouldn't go in and take the aggro early, as that means he will die to tower, let someone healthier tank it, and he could have lived, but nonetheless, it is still 2 for 1. A lot of minions, plus plates for them. We'll give up a lot mid, though. Shyvana picked up the Herald, has been 2 for 0 on the objective gameplay, and Set will manage to get the shove, so they're going to get a lot of damage back mid. in exchange for that play bot.
Definitely a bit of an early Herald placement though. You can that mid lane tower provides so much security for Renji right now. It's really nice to get that damage
Yeah,
upon an
as
ult
Atronach
drop.
going very aggressive, ulting forward under tower, eats a couple of shots. We'll just walk off as Jack comes in, won't be able to do too much, but zone him off. And it is one thing I do want to mention a little bit is just some optimizations Vengeance could have build-wise. I don't actually think Bramble versus Aatrox when your sign's very good, because Aatrox doesn't actually have to auto you skinny heal cut, and it's not like you have a lot of kill threat anyway, even if Shyvana comes up, just with the amount of tangy he can do, so you can't really apply Bramble, and in team fights, Aatrox is never going to auto you whatsoever, so kind of a wasted gold in my opinion. Then for Set in mid, I think that going Conqueror in this sort of range matchup is like really bad because that isn't actually a swift stacker of Conqueror. Like you might get it at the tail end of fight, but I guarantee that if we check healing at the end of the game, it'll probably be less than 200 from the set, just in terms of what he's getting out of Conqueror. I think either Fleet Footwork is better for lane, or if you're going like this kind of set, maybe even Aftershock, so you're better in team fights. Just some minor optimizations that could come forward as we do see a setup for Dragon from both teams.
Yeah, the Mertred's rush is absolutely fantastic. Oh, we see the
As
Scion ult
gotta
running down.
cut you
The
off, as this is a
down.
very deep Scion ult, is going to go past, will get back up with the damage, but not a knock-up, and doesn't land the knock-up either. Now the Shyvana is going to go forward, will manage to one-shot with E+Dark Harvest, flash away, but the flash fall from Aatrox. Now Jack, though, is on the back line, and there is no DPS deal with him. Flashback over from Stridey Too Good, will get him out of the pit and out of danger, but Dark History cannot kill an Aatrox when he is this far forward. Kind of misses the flash, but doesn't matter. Q3 is more than enough damage as Stega is putting off Stridey Too Good. On the meantime, Jack Loves Lamp picking off, and it is just the Bash Brothers with a Xerath ult missing on top. Wit collects the shutdown from Aatrox, and it is a 4-for-0 team fight in favor of Reign of Kings.
Yeah, Reign of Kings able to definitely use the Xinjiao and Aatrox there on the backline dive, kind of holding hands, doing some damage together. As Jack's going to be attempting to get this red buff, that Mountain Dragon will be secured for the side of Reign of Kings Apocalypse. They're definitely going to be enjoying those bonus resistances, right? Aatrox and Xinjiao are going to be kind of those like drain tank style. Both of them going to be going Gore Drinker, and that Earth Dragon just multiplies the effectiveness of that drain tanking, constantly cycling HP. That's just got bonus armor and MR on top of it.
Yeah, and it's not like there's a ton of damage to kill them either. Just with Jhin as the ADC. Once it gets later game, he'll actually do a fairly good job at chunking, same for Vel'Koz, but early on they are basically just invincible in the front line. And just another thing is that there was fighting, as Stridey Too Good will get jumped on by backup. I doubt he's at too much risk of dying, but it was pretty much just an item diff. Shyvana hadn't bought before Dragon, so it was Recurve Bow versus Gore Drinker for his Stega. Or Gore Drinking components, didn't quite have it done, but he had like the more items finished. And then Wit had already finished his shield bow compared to Dark History's components, so it was just item difference down, led to the fight getting out of hand. They lost it, and now they are pretty far behind for this stage of the game and will have to be doing a lot of catch up.
Yeah, that 2k gold lead, pretty solid for the side of Reign of Kings Apocalypse. Now turret plates are down, gonna be able to, turret plates are down in 20 seconds, gonna be able to maybe knock down some of those turrets, specifically down here in the bot lane. That one's really low. Renji gonna be, continuously poking him down. Has the Leandries completed? Ooh.
Yeah, as meanwhile an arrow cleanse, but the Amumu ult on top, meta shift just getting a bit too far forward, looking for poke, will go down as Wit goes on a rampage, and right before plates finish off, so they won't at least, no gold will come from it, but they will probably be able to get way more damage onto tower without those resistances, and we'll probably just get it down.
Yeah, once the plates are down, these multi-man pushes are extremely effective at killing these towers. We spoke earlier, oh, we see a dive coming through.
Yeah, we'll land the stun, but an ult away, and now Bad Cop is under tower. Dark History crits him for the kill. Little bit aggressive there, going in between when Shyvana still had her escape mechanism. As now the Jhin ult coming out, his Stega's ult will block a lot of it, though I don't know how Dark History uses last shot. I think if he held on to it, his Stega's ult would have run out and maybe could have gotten a kill. Wasn't paying attention to how many shots were left and what it could have gone on, but yeah, it's just mid tower down. Bot went down as well because Set can't do anything at all into Renji, and it will be a continued advantage and now 3.5k gold lead for Reign of Kings Apocalypse.
Yeah, we did get to see kind of that aspect of the team fighting though. As you see, the Vel'Koz and the AP Shyvana and the Jhin work really well together on picking off these low health targets. However, it's just kind of a steamroll from the side of Reign of King's Apocalypse. Um, most of the deaths are on Bad Cop, as he is 0-5, and those deaths aren't accounting for a lot of gold. Pretty much all the other members of Reign of King Apocalypse are extremely strong and can kind of walk through the storm that is all the abilities that are just getting tossed at them. As long as Sestega is able to find a nice engage, or Wit slash Bad Cop are able to find an engage before Bad Cop dies in these fights, it's honestly not that worrisome because Astega and Jack are able to just continuously jump past using the resets on the Aatrox slash that Wind Become Lightning bonus range for Hastega. They're able to continuously re-engage the fight against that poke, which is exactly what you want.
Yeah, as now we do see Reign of King's Apocalypse setting up for the other objective. It was 2 for 0 with Dragon and Herald. Those picked up by Atronach. Now Reign of Kings is returning the favor with their own Dragon and Herald. And they're doing it with a lot better map position. This will probably allow them to shove down the last outer tower top lane. Maybe even dive the Scion if they're feeling particularly aggressive or if Scion's feeling particularly disrespectful. But they won't be able to pick up Herald, get a push with that. Renji, of course, is perfectly fine holding mid lane. There's not the most engaged that's able to get on him with Scion top, as now we see the attempt at 4-man dive. Back up will miss it, and Jackal's lamp is getting quite low. Hasn't popped the ult yet. I really feel like he could, but it doesn't matter just with the 4v2 anyway. TPN from Set will be able just to nuke him down from tower, and actually no kills picked up for Reign of King's Apocalypse. Just weren't committed up to the fight. Meta Shift will flash away from Renji's damage, but the flash forward from his Sega means that he will go down and make it a 1-for-2 in the end.
Oh, nice
Going in and almost giving up another death, but now Renji is able to ult on the top with 1-for-2. I don't think you when there's a Xerath in the game running. That's a triple kill for Renji. Wit goes unstoppable on the set, and a little bit of oopsie from Vengeance just leads them to give up a 4-for-1 in the team fight.
Yeah, who wins, a World War II sniper or an entire backline of arcane artillery? Renji able to pick up that kill on Dark History in the backline as he mistakenly Jhin ults there. That was pretty funny to watch. Yeah, everybody's just everybody except Bad Cop is just huge. And you know what? Bad Cop is utility. He managed to land that chain, and that's what matters, right? It doesn't matter how many times Bad Cop dies, if he's finding those chains onto the backline, those bandage tosses, it's perfect. He's doing his job. Those 0 and 5 deaths, the 4 assists is all that matters. He's keeping it real.
Yeah, and it is one of those as well where he's eating all the cooldowns. His
goodness.
meta shift is probably just dead to Landry's here. Laser will go out, but Renji, yeah, just burns him down as you can't really be stepping up that far forward as Velcot support. You're pretty squishy. And yeah, just in these fights, Bad Cop is actually eating cooldowns from people as the support. And if you're damaging him, you aren't damaging the gigantic Xin and Aatrox, as Aatrox might go down here. We do see him Gourd Drinker, but didn't ult beforehand. That probably could have got him a lot of healing, maybe enough time.
Ooh,
as he will flash over the wall. Now Atronach follow flashes. As here finally comes the Aatrox ult. Misses the first couple of Qs, but yeah, just look at how much healing he does. There is no DPS. Now the Xerath ult coming on top, onto the Xin. Another land advantage toss from Medcop. He's doing his job. Renji will go unstoppable. Now it's the Set alone in the pit. We'll probably be able to get Bad Cop. I don't know why Jack went over the wall. But here comes the follow-up. Renji goes dominating, and Reign of Kings goes 7k up in the game.
Yeah, this is a massive gold lead for the side of Reign of Kings. They've got just huge shutdowns on Hastega, Renji, and Wit as they just are going to be pushing down mid, letting that tower. I know JJ just completely not having any of it. Man's rocking Scion in the top lane with 0 deaths, and he's just, you know, he's trapped, right? He's trapped in this game, and he's just stacking that Scion passive. Eventually, though, he'll be joining these team fights. We did see him, I guess, Scion ult across the map. Just nothing really came of it. Now, that is one of the better engages into Xerath and Ashe, so maybe once he finishes his mythic item, we'll see him. Because I do think that a well-positioned Scion ult, plus the barrage that is Shyvana, Jhin, and Vel'Koz can turn this game. The only one that probably wouldn't die to that would be Hastega. With that Zinja ult, just doesn't care. doesn't care about that kind of team fight. We see Hastega trying to get JJ to participate in the game.
Yep, they do want to make sure that he isn't deathless on it. Arrow goes through, doesn't quite get it. Renji does too much damage and gets an assist away from Wit. Stega goes back, gets a bit more damage. Metashift takes a Q and almost dies. Zerathult's up in a couple of seconds. Up now, not sure if he's going to look for
Oh
it.
my
Wow,
goodness,
that
he's got
was
the map hack.
Really good guess, or a map hack, take your pick. As yeah, he's just absolutely nuking. Everyone has the Horizon focus done. Jack is unstoppable in the side lane. They're just pushing in as for Renji will eat a lot of damage, and Bad Cop is going in between towers. Not sure if you want to do that. His team is kind of just left him. They ran out of minions, so they're just gonna kind of let him die to, or almost die. We'll come in to save him.
I can't tell.
Barely at the end. I
Did
think that was
I think he ulted. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the ult. You're right. The skin is kind of hard to tell whether it's ult or E. But yeah, that was funny of him going in and team realizing minions died. And just saying, okay, have fun. Do come in to save him at the end. But yeah, it is still a 10k gold lead almost for Reign of Kings in this game.
Yeah, Reign of Kings Apocalypse, gonna be looking to, I guess, go for that dragon in a minute and 30 seconds. If we thought that the engage / damage was rough before, it's gonna get even worse once they pick up and start stacking these infernal dragons. Jack in the bot lane gonna get Vel'Koz to roam down. Metashift looking for it, doesn't land the Q, and blue buff double stacked up on Renji here. I assume the previous one was probably fading away, but I mean he is the best user of it with that 700 gold shutdown. 8-0-4 almost has his void staff complete. I'm not sure how the math works as to like Xerath is concerned, but I'm pretty sure this is probably one of the higher damage builds. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Liandry's burn and exposure damage that ticks up does get increased by Horizon Focus, and like all of Xerath's abilities can apply that. So
yeah, meanwhile, Straight to Good will get yanked back, will eat a ton of damage. He doesn't have Haymaker either, so it will force him to flash the stun. And now we get a siege situation where absolutely no one in the game can walk up to the Xerath. We do have his Sega top, which is a bit of an odd choice considering Dragon's coming up and Jakov's lamp has TP. I don't think that Vengeance will be able to get in range of Dragon, as no one can walk through the Xerath, who's almost 3 items. And will just be ulting now onto Dark History. Ashel comes out as, wow, Renji is really good at landing these and just basically 2-shots him with it. And yeah, can't approach for Dragon, so his stake is fine to stay top. And Reign of Kings continue to absolutely dominate in this game.
Yeah, Renji's got a really nice. He's the Xerath that's on the enemy team in solo queue. He's got a really nice eye for those Xerath ult. As we get the third Infernal, second Infernal, third Dragon for the side of Reign of Kings Apocalypse.
Yeah, and I kind of want this game to go to Infernal Soul just to see one Xerath Q kill Vel'Koz, because I'm pretty sure it will. If he manages to get it, and with a couple more items, as he does have Void Staff done now. And I'm not sure what he's looking towards. Probably should just go for Magi's, honestly. I don't see anyone getting in range to kill him, and he could just pick it up, then go for Death Cap, and actually just one-shot either the Vel'Koz or the Jhin with a Q. As now we see Bad Cop running forward. Might be an engage, but is going to get knocked up, and he's kind of just eating damage right now with no follow-up, but managed to flash over at low health again. CC's Renji is doing damage from the backline. You might almost kill the Amumu, but not quite. Pulling his captain, Jack Sparrow, and over the rest of it, Hastega and Jack are just cleaning up. Bad Cop even walks back into the Scion to make them realize that it is the day they almost killed Bad Cop, the sad mummy, and it will just be an ace picked up for Renji, as Reign of Kings can probably just run it down mid.
Honestly, Bad Cop was playing the long con. He, die 5 times early in order to give enemy team false hope and then continue to have them burn you down, but walk away with just a sliver of health after you drop all your CC. Man is on levels that we had not even thought of. Interesting that they don't go for the end here. I mean, I guess they're respawning, but it just feels like they have such an overwhelming advantage right now that they could have just ended. Especially with like the poke. Like, it's not like Renji's out of mana or anything, but Reign of Kings Apocalypse will back off and probably just look to go for a safer. And as Hastega picks up the red buff and they go for more items. Xerath didn't buy anything.
He got the Magi's. He finished Magi's.
Oh, that is?
with that
Okay.
bag. Yeah. He managed to get it done. Aatrox went from Caulfields to Black Cleaver plus Caulfields. Ashe has her 2 items done plus a bit of extra damage with the Rage Knife. Xin Zhao has his Wits End plus Sterix, so he's never dying. And this game is definitely over. As Bad Cop is now going for Atron, and Renji just 2-shots him with the ult.
Oh
Make
my
that a
goodness.
third. He goes legendary. Actually hasn't missed an ult in the past like 10 minutes that I've seen. And another chain from Bad Cop. And with the Aatrox on top of that, it will just be the Scion getting a bunch of Qs on top of him. Managed to get enough separation for his ult. Nice drifting along the wall to get away. But of course, Baron's going to go down, and this game is probably just going to be over with it. And it has been already.
Yeah, it's pretty overwhelming. Renji has got way too much damage on the side of Reign of King's Apocalypse, and if you can weather the storm that is Renji, you've still got to deal with a deathless Xin Zhao, you know, a rampaging Jack on Aatrox, and like Wit's also doing damage. That, like you said, he finished the Wit's End, and it's you know, stronger than it was the last time. You know, they nerfed that item and then they buffed it for this stage in the game, especially with that on-hit damage from the Rage Knife. Like, it's not something you can just ignore. Ashe will DPS you down. Bad Cop just looking for those engages through the wall. Pretty sneaky with the party streamer there on the Amumu.
Yeah, as that's not a spot you can ult, just expose himself to damage. Ashe Arrow comes through, he will get stunned and finished off. Nice ult in the backline from Strategy 2, but you are way too far behind to have that matter at all. That is 4 kills. Shyvana was pushing bot lane, trying to get at least something, as she knew the push wasn't going to be stopped anyway, and indeed it wasn't. As Reign of Kings hit 30 kills on the game, hit about 17,000 gold ahead in the bank, and will manage to finish off the towers, plus 1 last kill so that Atron can join his team, doesn't want to be left out, and it will be Reign of Kings Apocalypse taking a pretty easy win.
Well, you know, Renji did not manage to finish stacking up his Magi's, but he does finish the game with 24 Magi stacks instead of 25, so always room for improvement there. Reign of Kings Apocalypse, you know, almost had a perfect game. You know, 8 deaths short and 1 Magi's stacked short as they, you know, get their victory. Congrats to Reign of Kings Apocalypse.
Yep, just well played from them, managed to take the win. That is our second game of the stream finish. We have 1 more left on the day between Redemption Esports versus You Had Me at Pawn Show. Don't go anywhere, we will be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the final game of the day of GRLCS Fall 2021 Ruination Platinum Division Week 5. We have on the blue side Redemption Esports versus You Hadn't Yet Poncho on the red team. For Redemption is Dumb Not One Trick off champ in the top lane with Malphite, Hyping Hero with Jarvan in the jungle, Avatar with Syndra mid, and Fargo and Ban Thresh with the Lucian Braum bot.
Now, before we get this 5-man invade started, we got MH Death on Camille, Archie's on Amumu, Duckster on Lulu mid, and then we got Lepettus and Efam on Blitzcrank Callista bot as they narrowly avoid the Tri-Brush. They are warded out. They do know that this invade is coming, and they decide to move and cycle through as they're going to be going for, I guess, like it's honestly pretty tough, right? You've got the Braum level 1 versus Blitzcrank level 1.
Yeah, I think really Braum is better though, just with the Lucian.
Sure.
Yeah,
ooh, Camille's
and
already
they're gonna
recalled.
wait for Camille to back, and then they're gonna 5-man and kill them all with the
This
man
is
advantage. Come on,
this
do
is
it.
some big brain
Like,
level 1
long.
stuff. This is what we like to see.
They think they're backing out. Okay, Malphite's actually gonna be so late to lane. He'll probably have to TP back. Oh, now they see Duckster. Oh no! They landed the Braum Q, and that is going to be Duckster going down. First blood for Lucian. Now they're going to be chasing in. Archie's didn't get the memo. He is not leaving with the team. Okay, they will just chase him out, and that is actual disaster for You Had Me at Poncho in this early game. They're going to have to blow top lane and TP or just miss a bunch of minions. They lost the first blood. Amumu is going to be like a full camp behind on his clear time. That is just really, really rough.
That is what you want to see, though, from the side with the Braum. So, pretty good start for Vengeance here. Now we do have not Nautilus. Dumb Not One Trick gets to lane a little bit late. Now, for MH Death, he did go D-Shield in this lane, which I think is like the right thing to do, especially when you're against Doran's Rain Comet Malphite. You're not gonna just be able to sit there all laning phase. Ooh, he uses a nice passive shield to block most of the magic damage. Pretty nice trade there. For MH Death, playing the matchup, I would say a lot better. At least at the start for this level 1 than Dumb Not One Trick.
Yeah.
And then a very aggressive bot lane. We have we have Blitzcrank and Braum here, which are both pretty aggressive, as well as Callista and Lucian. So gonna be looking to be 2v2 fighting constantly. Hyping Hero making his way to the bot lane, maybe perhaps to punish.
Yeah, that will be a really easy gank. Does miss his flag and drag. Flashes forward. Braum Q was tagged. Iapetus will go down. Nice rotation bot for Hyping Hero using his camp advantage.
I'm gonna be honest. We saw the flag and drag didn't matter there. Why even use it? Straight up, if because it's flashable there. Like if Lepettus, if the flag and drag actually went off and Lepettus flashes it, Hyping Hero's just in a worse spot. Right there, you can just walk up, especially just honestly Ban Thresh, right? The Braum walks up perfectly and then gets those passive marks there. Nice little kill there for Fargo as he picks that up, and he's gonna be pretty strong on this Lucian.
Yeah, I actually think that there's just a huge bot lane advantage for Redemption. We do see the return of Lucian, right? Did make changes a few patches ago. Tried to shift him out solo lane, move him back towards bot with changes to ally buffs, giving him magic damage on autos, cutting down his culling damage so much so he doesn't just become one-shot you off screen with it. Has to actually play with crit and like, get some items to be gatting people down. And it is, since he is going back bot lane, Braum is one of the old supports that worked really well with him. You get to proc the passes super quickly with the double autos, and Blitzcrank isn't really good at fighting other bot lanes that can just flat out fight him when he isn't like able to one-shot you with a pull, and you can't really one-shot Lucian when Braum can block the damage or just dash away and not get pulled in the first place. So they're gonna have a lot of pressure down there, and it will be pretty rough since Callista is a champ that already falls off pretty hard as the game goes later, especially against something like Malphite Jarvan, who have a really easy time jumping on her.
Definitely wants to get that early advantage with the presence she has with her spears in lane, being able to pull them out, but that's just not going to be a thing this game. Unfortunately, they are able to, get those 2 kills, get that Noon Quiver completed, and right here, they're just going to be shoving them out, perhaps going for Dragon. Not really sure what Fargo and Ban Thresh are going to do with this extra time other than just, like, loiter around, clear out some vision in the river. You know, not much of a CS lead established in any lane except for top lane. MH Death with the superior trades is able to, you know, get that 10 CS lead, which is what you want to be doing on Camille in this match. You just want to be getting your gold, getting your items, so that perhaps you can teleport down and help out your bot lane, who does seem to be struggling right now.
Yeah, and Camille will outscale the matchup pretty hard. Malphite, once his armor is completely ignored by true damage, pretty squishy tank. I mentioned it earlier in the stream with the Mundo. Malphite is also really squishy when he can't use his resistances off of the Camille Q. She can just chunk you, disengage, come back, chunk you again, then all in for the kill with her ult to make sure you can't ult away. So that will be rougher as it goes forward. As Hyping Hero is looking for a gank in the bot, doesn't have any camps up or even really spawning, so pretty low risk, and the wave is pushing in. As now Elpham steps forward, doesn't have flash, he's going to get knocked out by the flag and drag, chasing him forward. One more auto for the stun, and he will get finished off. Fargo goes 3-0 in the game.
Another pickup for Fargo. He's just getting spoon-fed these kills, right? Very little effort is actually required for Fargo. Ban Thresh is just landing these Qs time after time, even though, you know, Hyping Hero, probably name applicable, is missing some of these driving flags. Perhaps doesn't have the best ping. So, but he does manage to smite the dragon correctly, so, you know, you never know with this guy. He's leaving us all in suspense. As 3-0 with a 1,000-ish, 1,300 gold lead for the side of Vengeance. Now, both of these teams are 2-2 in this league, so this match matters pretty heavily for standings implications going into playoffs. A lot of the teams today that were 2-2, one of them won, right, and then one of them lost. Now, this one will be one that kind of starts. Almost everybody that came into today 2-2 is now, you're going to see that stratification finally break apart. And we're going to see one of these teams perhaps not make it into playoffs off the outcome of today's match.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the top side, Archie's is doing a really nice counter jungle off of Jarvan's gank bot and the dragon. Takes both camps and is actually even in CS despite being behind on the early start. That's a nice load advantage for him. Hyping Hero is now 6, however, and you have Syndra mid against a Lulu. Nice ult pressure from Syndra will now have an advantage in lane, but Archie's is also 6 and going forward. Flash away, double Q does land, but not quite enough damage to follow up. It's got away from the lance, and Lulu will have to start being careful, as Jarvan will get your flash once with ult, and then can just come back and kill you the next time with as much damage as Syndra has for follow-up. Now Hyping Hero is looking for the kill under Archie's. Does have smite, so will be a heal, but Ban Thresh with a really nice blast cone. This time the flag and drag lands. Stun will go forward as well, but meanwhile, MH Death really nice roam mid. Will most likely be able to pick up Avatar, but can't quite get into the second Q range. Now waiting for his E to come back off cooldown, but has to back up as the rest of the team and the TP came in from Malphite, so it will only be the one kill onto Mumu in the jungle, but a lot of pressure and advantage as well for Redemption.
Yeah, gonna be, you know, when you're playing Camille, you gotta be crisp with your actions. Gonna be honest that the Hextech ultimatum that she dropped, not the best one to do there, right? Against Syndra, you want to be ulting one of two ways. You want to be ulting either to dodge the E from Syndra, where she knocks you back, stuns you, or you want to be ulting the ultimate damage. We know Syndra doesn't have ult there, so you're supposed to just hold on to that to actually be able to not get knocked away, not get stunned. So just a missed opportunity there. MH Death doesn't play that as cleanly as he can. Now, I do want your opinions, Vici, on Malphite's current build, where he picked up the Grievous Wounds against Camille. Do you think Camille is doing an exorbitant amount of healing that the Grievous Wounds is necessary?
I think not. Is going for the Divine Sunder, so there will at least be some healing instead of none whatsoever, but pretty much once Camille has Divine Sunder anyway, she's going to be like winning every trade, so it's not like cutting the healing that 40% of like a 50 to 75 HP heal will really mean a lot in the grand scheme of things. Probably better to just get your item spike for a little bit of pressure. And especially since it isn't Thornmail, it's the Oblivion Orb, which does give a bit more pressure, I guess, with Qs at some extra damage, and the armor doesn't matter as much against Camille because of her true damage, so at least a little bit more efficient in that way. but I still anticipate it to be absolutely her advantage once she has Sunder done.
Yeah, I'd say since Malphite like lost pressure in this lane relatively early, just with poor trades, like I'd have rather have just seen him like build like Tabby slash get tanky, you know. I don't think AP Malphite's gonna be one-shotting anyone anytime soon in this game. Now we do see the ult does go field goal.
Yeah, now the flash forward though is the Cataclysm. Callista is able to hop out of the wall, so it looks like she'll get away, but the culling comes out from Lucian. Might be nerfed, but it still does damage when you're that low, and it will be cleanly executed 3-man dive in the bot in exchange for a ripped Herald drop mid for a little bit of pressure and plates.
Yeah, nice quick little clear there. Avatar manages to get them off the tower, and then Fargo, Banthresh should be picking up plates as well as Fargo now 5-0 on the Lucian. Just spoon-fed. There I'd say he played, you know, there was some skill expression involved. Fargo was able to, you know, get the nice little culling there at the end on Lepetus, but earlier it was just spoon-feeding this man. This man's just getting extremely fed. It's always really nice whenever you have a support set those up for you, and now Gale Force completed. This is the newer build I've seen a lot of Lucian players go, is because they changed a lot of stuff to crit, you go Gale Force, as well as the Essence Reaver, and then I've seen a lot of Serylda's Grudge, so that with the combination of the mobility from Gale Force plus the slow on your culling is still able to deliver that really large amount of damage. Honestly, it feels even higher than it previously was, because of the fact that they changed so much more to be crit scaling focused, and the Essence Reaver and Gale Force are providing that crit that you need, and they're still both very high AD items, you know? We see a nice lineup for the Infernal Dragon. Both teams going to be facing off as we see Vengeance down on the bot side of the river.
Yeah, and now we do see Malphite pressuring tower instead of getting in TP position. Kind of a toss-up on which top laner will have more impact if they TP in, so might be better or worse for one to keep the other in lane. As we do start off the dragon, not sure if you want to be the one doing this, as you are way behind in like golden team fight pressure. Have to find a way to get to Lucian, but the Blitzcrank pull was beautiful. Gets on a Fargo, he's gonna go down immediately. Now in the backline is Camille. Malphite actually deciding not to TP, so instead they just walk into the drag fight. Becomes a 4v5. Their strongest member didn't get any damage down, and it will just be a wipe and a huge swing in gold for the Ponchos.
Yeah, Dumb Nut One Trick doesn't actually, he didn't have TP there. His only job should have been to pin down the Camille by having that threat of the Malphite ult to cancel the TP. Now that, what a beautiful hook from EFAM. That basically sealed the deal. He said, you guys have a 5-0 Lucian? Just like a magician, not anymore. It's gone. There's your lead. It's completely evaporated as they win that fight and secure that dragon for themselves. Really well done. They're able to swing the game back towards themselves. The lead's completely gone. It's even. 21 to 21,000.
Yeah. On the bright side for Redemption, they did manage to actually pick up the dragon. I just completely missed that Malphite didn't have his TP up, as Banthresh is going pretty aggressive, but he has the team to follow him up, as the calling actually gets interrupted. Really nice hook again from Elfin, but they are just so far up the lane. Tower isn't going to save you at all. Gale Force Swerve from Lucian since they didn't have to use it last fight, and let's just give him a couple more kills so he feels less bad about dying in that one.
There we go. I know you're getting hooked, man, but here's some kills. Now, you know, as many hooks as you put on him, if he still gets hooked like this, though, it is not looking as nice as it could be. Now, I do have a question. You might know this. I'm not really sure exactly how Lucian's new passive works as far as what is considered a buff for your ally. I know Brahm's W is considered one. Do you know if Jarvan's Flag is considered one? And if it's like Airy, where it's constantly reapplying.
So,
okay.
I don't think it reapplies, but I would assume that it does count for the buff. Don't actually know the interaction. That's a really good question. This is a solo kill from Duckster. Just managed to
see that one every day.
Flash, yeah, and the Lulu mid proves superior to the Syndra solo kills.
Yeah, still has the ultimates. Honestly, could just bait out hyping hero to dive him, and he'd be a-okay with that. That Lulu shield and the ultimate makes it really difficult to kill Duckster there. You know, Duckster's had enough of these Cinder stuns, he says, and he just straight up solo kills his lane opponents. Banthresh and Fargo.
Ooh.
For it.
Do have a Mumu in the back pocket, and now the TP's coming in from Duckster, gonna be looking for this fight. Fargo, I believe, already used his dash. No, he managed to save it, but there goes the Mumu, but it's under tower, and the Malphite TP has come in, has an opportunity for the ult here, does have it, decided not to use it. I feel like you just go in there with how strong ahead Fargo is, but
taking notes from Bad Cop there. going
Yeah.
in, taking half his health before deciding this is probably not the engage I want. He
Yeah.
just kind of walks away.
I feel like there was an opportunity to go a bit harder there, but decided just played safe. It was 3v4 after all, and so we'll just get out of it with TP blown for each side.
Yeah, TP from Duckster just there to support, and then TP to reply from Dumb Not One Trick. I would say, you know, if that Amumu does drop and you've got the Malphite, I think that the Malphite does end up being pretty overwhelming to deal with. We do see components of Essence Reaver being picked up here for Fargos. He's going to that build that we talked about earlier. We do have the Finished Divine Sunderer on MH Death. He's just going to be able to completely run over Dumb Not One Trick right now. The difference in components to completed Divine Sunderer is I think one of the largest as far as mythic items are concerned. Now, if he's just going to continuously get, you know, rocks thrown at him, you're not going to actually like see the item actually do anything because you do have to auto attack your opponent. But you know, a fourth of his health already gone, just rocks, right? Just Malphite things. You just throw Qs.
Yeah, just
Yep.
off cooldown.
Interactive
You can see
gameplay.
super annoying. But meanwhile, mid lane, we do have the mist ult and the mist hook. Try to go for the
Oh,
opportunity.
no.
Now
It's
you're
getting low.
tanking tower. Elfin will manage to get the Lulu ult forced out of him, and that's a couple ults down. Mid, well done from Avatar to manage to avoid it, as we do just continue to see prime Malphite top gameplay. Cue them anytime they walk in range and don't let them fight you, and you can kind
How
of
dare
see
you?
just how annoying it is to play against that, as the pressure, I guess, will continue a little bit longer. The Oblivion Orb proving a bit more effective than we
I mean,
initially give it
I
credit
don't know. If
for.
you just buy AP, it does the same. I haven't seen MH Death actually heal yet, so if you just bought AP, it would have been doing the same amount of stuff here. But
Yeah,
good
but the
enough, good
extra
enough.
damage is quite
Pretty sure
nice,
he's
and
in
at
lethal. If
least
he just ults, he dies.
uh,
Now Camille can Hextech ultimate him to dodge the Malphite ult, but
yeah, and that's plus like the healing and the magic damage shield. I
the
think she
healing's
actually
cut now.
does.
To be fair, the healing
Yeah,
is
that's
cut.
true. Healing is cut from the Oblivion Orb. But meanwhile, the third dragon is coming up. It is an Ocean Soul on the way, and there is absolutely no way whatsoever that they're going to be able to deny this dragon from redemption. So it will be Soul Point and the necessity of a fight here in about 5 minutes from the Ponchos.
And there we go. That's just going to be Ocean Dragon picked up. Ocean Soul is absolutely massive for Malphite and partially for Jarvan as well, right? So whenever you have these resist-based tanks like Malphite, whenever you got like Malphite doesn't have healing in this kit, you give healing to Malphite, there's absolutely no way he can lose the side. Granted, maybe if Camille hits like 3/4 items and she's got the
Yeah.
100% true damage conversion rate, but like that light at the end of the tunnel is just getting further and further away as I mean already he's able to pelt him down with rocks. He does finish the Glacial Gauntlet. That's going to be pretty useful for team fights for, you know, after he ults in, just sticking down. I'm pretty sure it's especially useful against Callista, as that slow field really makes it difficult for her to just dash around and dodge. We do see
meanwhile aggressive will force the flash over from Ban Thresh, and yeah, Ocean Soul is super rough, especially since you had me at Ponchos have a pretty low damage team comp, all things considered. You have Callista bot and Lulu mid. Neither of those really known for their high damage numbers to cut through a couple of tanks healing, especially when it's Luden's Lulu, who is relying on squishier targets. So that's going to be really rough if it goes through. They absolutely cannot in any world give it up. But meanwhile, fight starts mid. Hook does miss from the Blitzcrank, and in the backline, Hyping Hero is managing to be a distraction, taking some damage. Fargo picks off Archie's in the meantime, but Camille over the wall missed Malphite ult from them, not one trick, and that will mean that possibility is there, but Fargo is still alive. He is very strong. Callista ult comes out, but cannot re-engage under tower, and it will be a 2-for-1 in favor of You Had Me at Ponchos. And oh, that's another nice hook. Shut down for the Blitzcrank, but a nice return unleash power from Avatar. At least makes a 1-for-1, but still really worth to get that Lucian down for the
yeah,
support.
the little ult going on the wrong person there. I can only assume. Pro tip, use your champion portraits on the side of your screen whenever there's like large clusters like that for those point and click buff abilities. If you click right on the little Blitzcrank portrait, you don't have to weave through all these dashing champions jumping over your mouse as you go to click it. But does go down. EFAM, you know, vengefully, just kind of like Bad Cop did last game, gets that hook before he dies and shuts down Fargo. Fargo, a lot of responsibility having 8 of your 10 kills on your team, and just kind of get blitzcranked, right? You can't that's kind of one of those things where it's like, how hard does Blitzcrank scale? I don't know. How good are you at landing those hooks? You know, not the best as far as like Braum is tankier. Braum provides more in a team fight, but as far as like taking away the dude with 8 deaths, that's pretty useful.
Yeah, it is definitely one of those where a Blitzcrank hook might be useless all game, but he lands that one late game pull on a good target, and he will suddenly just win it completely for your team. And he hasn't been missing every pull. He's landed a couple good ones, got Fargo both of his deaths, and it is the issue you run into when you have something like Lucian with all the kills. He's pretty short ranged. He's up against Camille and Mumu Blitz. One misstep at all, and he's just immediately bursting out and dead, and all that effort you put in to get him strong is just kind of thrown down the drain. And now we see Dexter actually picked up an Ardent Sensor along with his Ludens, so
Yeah, I think
bit
that's
of
fair.
a
Honestly.
schizophrenic build where you aren't going for like the Moonstone full supportive, but you also aren't committing to AP damage as FM tries to pad his hook numbers, but you can't hook teammates. And yeah, I'm kind of curious on that decision. I mean, maybe you do get more DPS out of Callista that way to try and cut through the tanks, and it is nice to be able
Kalista and
to
Camille
make,
really likes the attack speed.
yeah,
Amumu like
get
kind of
Camille
auto attacks,
stronger.
right? But I don't know. Does the Luden's magic pen apply to the Ardent bonus magic damage, or is that based on the champion you're putting on?
I
I don't
think
know.
the champion you put it on is the one dealing the damage because it gives
Yeah.
them the magic damage autos. It's not you actually doing the damage with
No
it.
forehead giganto brain builds today. For Duckster. But I do want to note the low damage profile of the bottom 4 for Poncho is pretty apparent as they struggle to kill anything except Lucian whenever they get a blitzcrank hook on him. However, once this Camille once MH Death actually gets items, right? He seems relatively starved, sitting on only Sunder and Tiamat when I guess most players except for the AD carries have 1.5 items done. But once we get to see like 2 to 3 item Camille show up truthfully in these fights, and that true damage scaling is, you know, at 100%, level 12 just needs 4 more levels for that 100% true damage conversion. We're gonna be seeing like people's health bars just dropping as Camille is able to find those precision true damage
Yeah,
strikes.
as we do get more posturing out of Dragon, and it will be later in the game that it will matter, and that's if she can manage to stay alive through it. We'll have a pretty good job with a Lulu, but that's definitely the carries. Archie tries to look for the flank, but instead he gets picked off himself, eating a lot of damage. The hook doesn't manage to land on Lucian this time, and he does manage to get an okay calling, but the Malphite on two of the backline, they aren't committing any more damage to the fight. Now going forward, Duckster trying to stay alive, but cannot. Jarvan going to get through it. Lepidus is stunned up and killed by Avatar, and that is going to be Ocean Soul picked up for redemption, and that is going to make things really, really, really hard for the Ponchos to come back in this game.
Yeah, right there, Redemption finding the engage on their own terms. No pressure for Fargo and Avatars. They're kind of just, you know, dancing in the back. Nana, nana,
As
nana,
I
you
like
can't
this
touch
from
me.
Camille, though, that is going to bail out the smite from Jarvan. He doesn't have it now, and Mimazov can maybe try to look to
True
turn
damage
it.
with Dragon?
Oh,
Oh
couldn't quite
no!
get it down. Not quite enough damage on it. Was getting burned down too fast by the attack speed and the stun from Jarvan. And I like the attempt at the play. Really, really nice to see that Redemption thought they already had it and kind of got sloppy about protecting their dragon take. It wasn't quite enough in the end. And the good attempt will just mean another death on the board for you, Admia Ponchos.
Yeah, honestly, respect. Respect for going for that play. I think there is a way to play that so that you just try to kill the Jarvan once the smite comes out, and then if like the dragon gets lower, the true damage. The truth is, like, he's seeing the true damage on things, and it's kind of hard to estimate how much it's doing because it is percent health based, and you like every time you land a Q on Camille with Sunder, the true damage hits different. As opposed to like with a Triforce build, you know exactly how much your damage is going to be every time. So not the easiest steal to go for, but maybe there's a chance where if he focuses Jarvan there, even then, like you have Braum with the shield, you got Gore Drinker, we saw the smite health, right? So it's a pretty tough look to go for, but you know, respect for MH Death for looking for it. Now items completions wise, we do see the if you thought Jarvan was hard to kill before, he's got Sterak's now, and then we have the completed Seraphs, along with just a little Hextech alternator. So Syndra's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's
packing
really
quite the
nice
punch.
engage from the Mumu though. Gets in the back line, gets a 3-man ult. Doesn't quite manage to finish off Largo though. He managed to dash just away. Second Q is going to land, but now he is alone in the back line. Managed to get him with the extra damage from the Sunfire Aegis burn. Now though, he is going to be finished off, but Avatar on the other side is sectioned off. MH Death is going to get his another proc, and that is the Kalista managing to finish off one more time. Now it is a battle against the 3 beefy members with Ocean Soul. Can they do it? The pullback over, they're just trying so hard to kill them, but they can't. Stuff lands on Image Death. He is going to be able to run, but Hyping Hero just isn't dying in the front line. Bam Thresh isn't dying. Dumb Not One Trick isn't dying. Kalista has so many spears, will finally manage to run Bam Thresh away, and now the Camille is going to go forward. Finally gets the shutdown on the Jarvan. One last Q, and they manage to pick up the ace in a really, really nice team fight from You Had Me at Ponchos.
Yeah, here you're actually getting to see like double-digit auto attacks here from Kalista on these Rens, and they're packing quite a punch. Camille's damage isn't really quite there yet, right? She only has like 1.5 items, but even then, you're seeing they're heavily relying on her true damage to bite through these last few heroes. Now, earlier we were saying Fargo was dying to Blitzcrank hooks and like the meme of Blitzcrank, but what does it mean whenever you have a 0 and 3 Amumu killing your Lucian who has 8 kills, right? That I think is something else. I think at that point you can kind of say, all right, Fargo, come on, buddy. You know, like I guess maybe Amumu's just built different. Nerf Amumu or something, because Fargo, I don't think there's many excuses to give at that point, right?
Yeah, it is kind of rough. And we also saw a glimpse of how team fights go if you don't immediately kill the 2 damage members of Redemption. Like, we saw both DPS go down first pretty immediately, only cost Mumu really good. And then they spent like 10 to 15 seconds after that trying to chew through the 3 frontliners HP bar that just weren't going down. So imagine our DPS is alive and just kill you during that time. And it does paint a bleak picture, but still really good on them to find the fight after that. Now they're going to have to find another miracle fight again as Redemption start up the Baron.
Now, Ravenous Hydra is completed for Camille. That's going to be a lot more AD and CDR and lifesteal.
Yeah, stun over the wall is going to mean the turn hyping Pero goes over. Kalista isn't trapped by the Cataclysm, but does manage to get some nice zoning. FM goes down first to Avatar. Only Blitzcrank isn't bad. He's a 4-mana Mumu ult over the wall. Really nice damage, but I'm not sure if there's enough follow-up. There's the Sterix Gore Drinker, not able to keep Big Hero alive. Really nice Q from MH Death, managed to finish him off. And another 1-for-1 fight, which goes in You Have Me at Honcho's favor.
Yeah, Ponchos is turning it around. Like we said, Camille is starting to pack so much of a larger punch. And honestly, how many times does Hyping Hero have to Cataclysm? Oh, we see an engage again.
Yeah, and MH Death gets too aggressive and just is finished off by Fargo. Now the rest of the team tries to come in and heal her, but Dumb Not One Trick, it doesn't die thanks to the Ocean Soul. Hypetus goes down as well. Not enough follow-up damage, and MH Death might have just thrown away any advantage that they might have had.
Yeah, Duckster's not in range to help out MH Death there. He does have the Gore Drinker done. Not the Gore Drinker, the Sunder done, but the Ravenous Hydra is he's still relatively squishy. He needs to be hitting tanky targets in order to really get effective health pulled out. Now, I wonder if Efems will be able to punch the Baron for the steal. He's looking for it.
Yeah, and they won't take any risks. They have people zoning over. Malphite over the wall. Fargo finishes him off. Baron secured. Hyping Hero comes back from death to be able to smite it. And that will be a Baron. 5k gold lead. Ocean Soul up for Redemption to try and maybe actually win a team fight and close out the game.
Yeah, you know, not just... I hope that they can win a team final. How many times, like I was saying earlier, is Hyping Hero going to continue to ult the Kalista as opposed to just ulting the Lulu is what I would say. Now, we were talking about Lulu's more defensive support itemization. We do see the heal cut coming through with the Putrefier on the Lulu. That's going to help. Basically, you don't have to build it on Kalista, and it's going to be able to get applied to multiple members because Lulu has all sorts of buffs that you can be tossing out in a team fight. So it is nice to see that. We do have Cyrilda's Grudge complete, and the QSS probably to slip out of the Amumu ult. Or if he's really clean, slip out of a Blitzcrank hook with QSS plus a dash. So we'll see if he's able to pull that one off. And that'll be a sad Blitzcrank moment.
And now we do see the all-important Elder fight, and it is a very, very tough fight. For you had me at Ponchos, like, no way around it. You're up against Ocean Soul Baron. They're way stronger than you. But if you do win this fight, you get Elder Dragon. And Elder Dragon can just end games on its own.
It
You get
honestly feels like a
that
throw to go
advantage.
for. It
Yeah,
feels like a
and
throw, and I don't want to see it happen. Now they are clumping for Malphite and Jarvan, so let's
yeah,
see.
they have to start it because Avatar was pushing mid. He is going to give it up now and go back forward. Zamumu goes forward, gets another 4-man ult, still no follow-up. Camille looking to go towards the back line, but gets
Ooh.
stunned immediately by the Syndra. Manages to ult on top of her, but this is just a cleanup. Now we see what happens when you can't kill the DPS. And then Steph trying to get back over. One last Q from the Malphite will pick him up. Archie's the only one alive. First one in, last one to die. Goes from... doesn't get the last hit. It was the Malphite Q long ranged, and that will be team fight win and Redemption pushing down mid to try and end the game.
Now, I do want to draw a distinction, right? We do see Archie's. He honestly found so many good Amumu ults. It's just his team comp can't follow it up. Nobody on his team really does anything alongside an Amumu ult, so it kind of felt like, you know, a lot of engage, but no follow-up. As we do have this nice win for Vengeance. No Elder needed, right? That's the buff that they did not need. Oh, maybe another death for... No, just kidding.
Yeah,
no damage.
He just flashes out. He has Ocean Soul. It's Callista versus a Malphite, and that will be Redemption taking the win over You Had Me at Poncho with a nice game from them, and it will be the last of our stream. Nice win picked up nice into week 5, and yeah, with that one done, any last words on what to say?
Lampshade, right, in the chat says this looks like a stomp. It is a stomp, right? Like at the end of the game, but for like most of the game, this game felt incredibly even, which is like very weird to say, but you know, just a nice little victory there for Redemption. Good for them. Really nice Ocean Soul victory. Shout out to Ocean Soul for basically giving them that win, I'd say.
Yep, Superior Dragon Control does end up taking it. Thank you all for showing up to the Week 5 stream of the Ruination Platinum Division. Unfortunately, there is no Seiko show tomorrow night, but Thursday we will be back with the Sentinel Division and the cast, so we hope to all see you all then, and have a good night.
Peace out.